Hello everyone, welcome back to Connect to Chess. Today we are going to analyze game of current world champion Gukesh Tomaraju and Thai Dan Van Nguyen. So this game was played in the round 5 of Tata Steel Chess Masters. So yeah, let's quickly go through the game. White is Thai Dai Van Nguyen and black is Gukesh. So the game started with d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, b6, g3, bishop a6, b3, and d5. So this is pretty standard opening, queen's pawn opening. White plays bishop b2 with the idea of castling, and black plays knight d2. Castles, rook c8 with the idea of c5, so opening up the position, and knight d2. Black plays bishop e7 and freeing the path of the king to castle, and bishop b2, getting on this beautiful diagonal. Black castles, rook c1, rook e8, rook e1, and bishop b7. As this bishop on b6 was not doing much on this diagonal, so Gukesh brings it back to b7 and e3. And here comes c5. So Gukesh is trying to open up the position now that his king is safe, his bishops are well placed, his rooks are well placed. Queen e2 with the idea of rook d1 and a5. So rook d1 played, rook queen c7, getting getting off this file of the rook, and h4. Bishop d6, knight b1, and d takes c4. B takes c4, c takes d4, e takes d4, and then e5. So Gukesh is trying to open up this file now that white's queen is on the same path as this rook. So takes, bishop takes e3. Now here even bishop c5 was a good plan, trying to keep the f2 pawn in the check. But Gukesh plays bishop takes knight, queen takes knight, and then knight takes pawn with a tempo. So tempo is nothing but attacking opponent's piece so that you get one more extra move to play. Queen b7. Thai is trying to exchange the queens. Bishop c5, queen takes queen, rook takes queen, and bishop takes knight. Rook takes bishop, rook d8 check, and Gukesh plays bishop f8, discovering his attack of rook on the pawn. So this is a discovered attack, but it's already supported by the white rook. But still, Thai plays bishop f1 because he wants to develop his knight to c3 so that the pawn still remains protected by the bishop. And g6. Right now, this bishop is pinned to the king. So Gukesh's plan is to play king b7 and then free up this bishop. Here comes knight c3, king g7, and rook c1, rook c6, and rook b8. Gukesh frees up his bishop, bishop b3, now attacking the knight, knight a4, double attack on this b6 pawn. Gukesh supports it with rook e6. And then white plays rook b7 and h5. So until now, this is pretty equal position. You might say black has a little better position because his pawns are connected and white's pawns are isolated. But considering the overall activity of the pieces, it's pretty much equal position. White plays rook c1, and here Gukesh had 20 minutes on his clock and Thai had just 6 minutes. Gukesh went into a long think and he played knight g4. Can you guys think why did he play this move and what was the idea behind it? So white plays bishop g2, now attacking the rook, and any normal grandmaster, any normal player would play rook d6 in this position, but not Gukesh. There is a reason why he's the world champion. Can you guys take some time and try to find this beautiful creative move played by Gukesh? He plays bishop e1. So now attacking this f2 pawn by his knight and the bishop, he's threatening bishop takes f2 check, and he's giving away his rook. And it's pretty much forced that now white should take this rook, because now if he tries to save this threat, here black can just play rook takes c4. This is a deflection, so deflecting the white's rook from the defense of this pawn. So after rook takes pawn, if white takes rook, now black can just play bishop takes f2 check, and whatever move you play, you're losing. If you play rook e1, this is mate in 1. If you play king g1, you can still play rook e1 check, forced bishop f1 because there is no escape square for the white's king. Rook takes bishop, and now king g2, and you can you can play knight e3 check here, so supporting this rook and forking the opponent's rook with a check, and this is a winning position for black. So Thai plays bishop takes rook, Gukesh plays bishop takes f2 check, king g2, and now rook takes bishop. So now Gukesh is a exchange down, but he has exposed the white's king. So he'll uh, try to capitalize on that. Rook c3. So this was a bit inaccurate move by Thai, and Gukesh takes full toll of that move. He plays bishop d4, again gaining a tempo, attacking the rook, and now Gukesh's plan is to play rook f6 and rook f2. Black cannot defend it, because if black plays rook c2 in this, black can just go knight e3 check, forking the king and the rook. So black plays rook f3, now creating his own threats on the f7 pawn. Gukesh plays knight e5, attacking the rook and supporting the f7 pawn. Rook f4, and rook takes c4, supporting the bishop and attacking the knight. And here comes knight takes b6, rook c2 check, rook king f1, and bishop e3. So this is this is the reason why Gukesh took those 14 minutes to calculate all this. Now white cannot take his rook off this file. Reason being, now in this position, if white tries to attack the bishop and knight playing rook e4, this is mate in 3, guys. So take some time and calculate the move. It's forced mate in 3, black to play and mate in 3. Yeah, so black can play rook f2 check wherever the king goes. If king goes to e1, knight d3 check, king d1, and rook d2 is a checkmate. This is a very known standard pattern for checkmate. If king goes to, after rook f2 check, if king goes to g1, then you can just play knight f3 check, king h1, and rook h2 check. So this is how you mate the king using your knight and rook. So after bishop e3, white plays a4. So giving up the exchange back, but trying to save his pawn. And then Gukesh takes bishop takes rook, pawn takes, and knight c4. So trying to exchange the knight. If white takes the knight here, black can just take it back, attacking this pawn, and white can't save neither. So white plays knight d5, rook d2, attacking the knight, knight c7, king f6, rook b5, and rook a2. So understand, like, this is a very excellent technique by Gukesh. So he's not allowing the white's king to escape from this first rank. So he's always having control over this second file. Knight d5, king g7, and f5. So Thai is saying, okay, I want to destroy your pawn structure. Gukesh says, okay, no worries. He just takes it. Knight f5, knight f4, and knight e3 check. Again, king cannot come forward, so he just have to roam in his limited space. He plays king g1 and rook takes pawn. So now this a pawn is a very dangerous pawn, which can easily be like promoted to queen. Knight takes, king g6, knight g3, and again rook a2. Now this is the technique, like, it's it's very nice technique by Gukesh, always keeping white's king in his first rank, and like giving no squares literally. And now the threat is to play rook g2 check and rook g2 check and grabbing the knight. So white plays king h1, and after a4, Thai resigns because there is nothing much he can do here. And yeah, that concludes this game. So such a creative move by Gukesh, though that bishop even in an equalish position, and that is the reason why he is the youngest grandmaster. So drop your comments and let me know how you feel about this game, and if you have any interesting games, let me know in the comments. I can always analyze it for you guys. Thank you.